Right, we've got that bit of outer guard cut off. It's actually not too bad. I'm probably going to cut it along to there and go maybe even go a bit of an arc back this way, just to get a bit of strength in it when I do it, so it's not like a straight weld. And just weld that bit back up there. It's quite solid there. Well, it's actually going to come up above it here anyway, so I'm probably going to come up here higher and round off the end, bring it down here to an arc down this way. It's all solid for the back there. There's no use taking it out. The rust is right back here somewhere. You can see it's a good 50 to 100 mil away. I'm going to dress up all that there, make sure there's no rust in there. But when you can see from the back here, the closest pinhole is right there. So I'm going to take it back to just in front of this bit, which will make that whole guard replacement a lot easier. This was a real difficult bit to cut out last time. You can see up under here how bad it is. So I've cut the outer part off, but what I've discovered is that someone's already done a bodgy repair inside here before. Can you see that plate there? And it goes across inside there and around here. They've just slapped it inside the old rust, which you can see in there. There's the rust hole. They've just put a plate inside it and they just covered it in tar. So I'm going to take the bottom of that off again. I'm going to make this piece down here again. Remake this whole section like I did on the other side. It's good up here, there's no issues. But I will, actually I've got to do it to there. You can see right there, there's a couple of little pinholes. You can see my finger through the back there. I'll make that piece to there. To that edge, come down here. Actually you can see another pinhole there. So it's going to go in and around this section. Oh, it just gets bigger and bigger, doesn't it? And then I'm going to do this piece first now, before I take this bit out, so I keep my shape and my size and everything. You can see here where I've cut the outer skin off, but this here is the weld line of where they welded. It had like, still had a spot weld up there, one there, one there, one there. That's their weld from their MIG, because this is a new piece through here. And you can see that little dodgy spot welds there, so I just cut through them with the grinder, took that inner part of the quarter off. Now I've got to just cut this old weld off here, remake that shape, install it all at the top here. Once it's done, cut the bottom bit off, make that bit. I tried to make it all in one piece last time, it's quite difficult. Then I'll be able to cut all this inner bit out here. You can see how bad it is. Look at this bloody shit welds inside here. And it looks even worse from underneath. Again, just overlaid and welded over the top of, and then sprayed filler and all this rubbery shit inside it here over the top of it. So I'll keep working on cutting this out and get that shape made, and I'll show you. I think this is worth showing. I scraped off just with an old chisel. Scraped off all that grey tarry shit they had inside here. Just it was in thick. Just have a look how bad this is inside here. So I guess my point is, it's kind of like a grey fiberglass. I'm going to cuddle this off anyway, right? So it doesn't really matter to me. I like to do the job right, but that's just some dodgy panel. They welded in there, covered the rest of it with tar, and because see how rusty all this is inside here. This is what it's like behind that grey fiberglassy shit they had in there. And I guess they're thinking because they had this black tar in some of it, they painted this shit over the top of it. But what it did was you see another bit there, look. By the time I scrape that off, have a look how bad that is right there. It's really badly pitted all the way around here. Now I've got this shit away. I said I was 50 mil from the end here, which was there. You can see here, I can put my chisel through that hole now. So I'm not 50 mil away. I can see minor rust right there. So I'm going to have to take this back, at least back to maybe here somewhere, and up to here before I replace this panel. And you can see down there, that rust hole there. Have a look at this. Here you can see, in the end here, they just filled it. They just filled it with tar, or body deadener, or seam seal, or whatever you want to call it. So that whole bit in there is just a chunk of tar, or body deadener. So imagine how much water that crap there was going to trap. There you go. You can see straight through the other side now. And you see the chisel go past the back of it there. So there's holes in the bottom, holes in the back. So I guess my point is, don't trust someone else's repairs unless they can show you, unless it's a legitimate shop, or they can show you the full build pics and videos and stuff, like I guess like I'm doing here. Don't trust someone else's crap. If it looks dodgy, there's a pretty good chance it is. You can see here how it's, I don't know if you can see it, see how it's dinted up right there where they put this patch in. Now underneath here, all they did was fill straight across there with filler. And obviously the media blast has taken that filler out and exposed all that crap. Anyway, my job now is to make this new inner, replace that, cut this bottom section off, trim it right back under this lip. There's some spot welds under here. You can see there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spot welds there. Take that off. Get these spot welds off of under here off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. About 10 I've got to get off there. And I'll cut it off and back on that angle there, and I'll take this piece right back to that corner. So yeah, slightly different repair this side. The other side, this one's not as bad. The other side was terrible, but I'll keep motoring along and show you as I go. All right, cut the bottom out. It's all the way out, back to here. Drilled out all the spot welds. You can see the spot welds drilled out along here. And the 2 up underneath there and that inner panel. Cut this piece out. Where is it? See? This is the piece here that I cut out of there. This old, you see how bad the rust was inside, and they just plated over the top of it. So, like I said before, buyer beware. They just, look what they done there. They just cut the metal with some slips, bent it to try and get the right shape, and just filled over. They didn't even re-weld it. And the rest of the weld's pretty average. Like this has got to be Backyard Billy that's done this shit. So, what I got to do now is, I noticed I have this piece here a bit too wide, and the bottom panel can't go up. I got to snip this down through here now, bring that bottom bit in a touch, and narrow it up. Because if it's not this thin on the end, you can see there, if it's not this thin on the end, it won't sit in the bottom of the other quarter. So that's all cut out, fully welded in there. You can see. Have to grind it all back, dress it up, get the panel back up in position, clamp it there. I've got a couple of tech screws that go in to a few holes there just to keep it in line. Then I'm going to draw that line across the top here and cut this piece out. I'm going to cut that across the top of this one here. I'm going to mark up from the inside and go up to the cut line. And then I'm going to mark it with a scribe, snip that piece off, then it'll fit in there pretty neat. But yeah, making this panel probably took me an hour or so. You can see I made it in from this front roll around here and around to the panel there, around to the inner panel there, and all the way down I made in one piece. And I just welded this little triangle piece on the end here with a little kick around there. I kept the piece. You can see here what I did on the bead roller. This is that shape I made there for the inner quarter. It's a double bead. This larger bead here is this set of rollers, and this tighter bead on this side is this pair of rollers here, or pair of dies, whatever you want to call them. You can see how they fit in there and make that shape. But yeah, that's I just rolled it. You can see it's on a taper. I had to make it go from large at the top to small at the bottom. Geez, I should clean this stuff. It's getting a bit grubby. Yeah, you can see there's that double bead there. There's that large bead on that side, and there's the small bead on the other side. You can see how it's wide at the top, and it tapers down to small at the bottom, so it fits inside that quarter panel. Right, that's that piece fully welded in. Strong as shit. All the spot welds are cut. This patch hole is cut out. So this is batch panel that's going in there. So we'll just get up and show you how it goes. There you go, it goes in like that. Nice gap, 1 little gap across the top. Again, like I did on the last panel, this is out of size, so out of shape, so I have to slit this down here and bring that front radius in to match that radius there, because it just doesn't line up no matter what I do. Everything else fits perfectly, so I will drill some spot weld holes in the side of this, down the side of here, and I'll drill some spot weld holes in the back of here, so I can go 4 under here, 3 up, 4 under here, then maybe 5 or 6 up there. Got those ones all the way, got those 2 under there already. Got these ones here done. There was none there on the original, so I'm leaving none there again. I still might drill one just to be sure, because it actually gets spot welded on the top up there, so on top of this bit, on top of this bit inside. So all right, I'm been at this for about 6 hours, so not sure whether I should tack this in or not. I'll leave it for tomorrow because it's about 10 o'clock at night, so I'll tack it in. I forgot to mention, anywhere that you can't get to later with something, like up inside that quarter panel up there behind there, you can't paint behind there, so that's been painted with a black rust converter and then a black satin, so anywhere that panels are going to touch, like on the bottom of here, and this face here is going to get spot welded through the front here, that's going to get spot welded from the bottom, they're going to get spot welded in from the back, this is going to get butt welded all the way across there, so anywhere else is now painted in black, like I do on the other side over there. You can't see it, but that's done too. So that's the panel mostly tacked in. So you got a couple of tacks down the side here. Same as the other side. This panel that I bought, they're not perfect. This radius at the front here sticks out a lot to the front, so I just did a bit of a splice cut down there. Took a little, I don't know if I can find it on the floor there. Yep, there it is there. That little piece, that little section there, I cut out of it. I cut that little pie piece out of it there like that. And I brought that back in. I just put a couple of Tech screws in there. You can see here, I'll just weld up, put a bit of copper behind it, weld up the hole, and plug weld. Same here, same there. Underneath, spot welded in there. That's a bit of an ugly one. Spot welded underneath there where you can't see them. I'll grind them back, make them look like factory spot welds. Same at the back over here. So that's that quarter. I tend to get all these bits, all these heavy structural bits in first and tight. Then I'll run the grinder through that joint there. I run it through a little bit, put a tack on it like I've done here, keep it nice and flush. Here you can see it's got a little bit of overlap still, but I'm not too worried about that. I'll just cut it off and tack it up as I go along, otherwise the whole thing sort of springs out of shape. I'll keep going and show you when I'm at the next stage. Alright, it's a panel tacked in, closing the welder off, and it just finished welding, so it's got a little bit of warmth in it, like I can touch the welds, but I'll be able to hold my hand on them for a long time. But just remember what I was showing you in a previous video, that this is how I weld. I'll do this couple of spot welds, have my air hooked up to this little air trigger here. I'll blow the air on it, keep it cool. I've got no panel distortion so far from any of those welds, other than what's already up here that's got to be fixed up later. But right now I'm going to mark out and cut out this quarter light, this piece here that's supposed to go in there. I'm going to cut out and put this thing back in where it's supposed to go. Get rid of that old 90s mod like I do on the other side. And once it's all tacked in, I'll probably weld that bit in first, paint it out, and then I'll weld this, keep it cool, and ready to finish off. So yeah, you can see again this side here how bad those welds are. There's still holes through the other side, and when you look on the back side, my front welds here are better than what they left on the back. Pretty average. So I'll mark this out with the same measurements as the other side. I'll give you a quick look at it, then I'll tack weld it in and show you when it's tacked, and then next thing you'll see is when that's welded in, then I'll finish that, and then I'm just grinding up the rest of the weld. You can see here where I've I took that pie cut out of there just to keep that wheel arch right. You can see where those spot welds were in there. I've got to trim this little excess bit off the edge of the panel here. Actually got to, where that tech screw was through there holding that panel together, I got to put a bit of weld in the back, dress it up as well. So really getting there now, crack along, keep watching. Right, just like the other side, there's the side marker, the old bit cut out. Where did I put the other bits that come out of there? Yeah, so if you look at, you're probably wondering why I cut such a big hole. If you look at what came out, I had to cut the other side of those dodgy welds that someone had done, so that's the piece there. That's cut out. That's what I got at the moment. You can see 32mm down from that top of the bumper relief. Come down 32mm. That's that line at the top of the side marker light. What have we got here? I have a vernier here somewhere. Oh. There you go, just to sort of show you, there's 16mm on a vernier. That is 16mm dead. Look at that, 16mm. That's in exactly the right spot. Gonna get some tack welds on it now. Once it's all tack welded in, like I said, I'll probably do a bit of, not a bit of painting here, probably do a bit of, oh geez, I don't know. I was thinking about leveling that out there, but it's not much of a lump, it's more of a dent in there, so I might get this all welded in, get the spoon in behind there, and try and knock that out with a dolly on the out, or the hammer on the outside and the spoon on the inside. It doesn't look too bad through the camera there, but it's a couple of mil low. I'll tackle these in, get it all sorted, and I'll show you where I'm at. There we go, side marker in. You've seen everything was lined up before, it's fully tacked in now. What I got to do now is I've got to go across, probably weld that bit up there first, and right at the back of the bumper bar reveal. Get that fixed in. I'll cool it down. I'll come over this side, do some more. I'll just keep moving back and forward. There is a little dent I should have fixed before, a little dent there, and a little one, this little dark spot right there, that's a dent as well. So still got plenty of work to do on this panel, but for now I'll get these marker lights in. And just like that, we're done. So that's the rear marker light installed where it should be. The lower quarter installed all the way through. All the way through and underneath. It's a brand new panel. All the spot welds are ground back. That section there has been replaced. What do we got in here? And I've just got that weld to grind back right on the edge there, but all the rest of the welds are ground back. So you'll never even know that was replaced. That's pretty bloody close to perfect. I'll work on this damaged section here next. Try and you can see these like 1 or 2 mil dings where someone's beat this thing back into shape, but you can see where I went across it with the sander and it didn't touch those low spots. So I'll get some primer on the rest of this just to keep it in good condition, and I'll carry on with the repairs.